All right, we are live. Cheers and welcome back to the Tavern live stream where I come to you from my little hobbit hole over here. Yes, cheers. Thank you so much. It's been a long time since I've done one of these live streams. Hey. Hey, dark-eyed musicians in here. So but it's been a really long time since I've done one of these live streams. Just been super busy, but I'm just getting back into doing some of these things, doing this live stream as well as my living room sessions live stream, which I am calling Tea, History, and Fairy Tales. And basically that entails me just hanging out here in my living room and playing you one of my songs or one of my favorite Celtic folk songs. And so that's basically what that entails. And sometimes I will have a musician friend come in, but I am going to bring Regina on here in just a little bit. But I just want to make a couple of announcements first. So first, I played a gig today. It was with the group Wayward Companions, and it was if you're a fan of Outlander, you probably would have really appreciated this event. And it's called Highlander Happenings. It takes place at this gorgeous location, this gorgeous mansion, stables called Heartwood Acres, and we performed there today for their annual Highlander Happenings Outlander theme event. It was so much fun. I do have a few more gigs coming up this year. November 5th, that's going to be at Braddock's Battlefield Museum with Wayward Companions. Again, we'll be doing a candlelight concert. And then also, man, I'm working backwards here. So just bear with me just bear with me. But so that's November 5th. That's my next one with Wayward Companions. Okay. My next one, that I'm just doing myself, I'm actually doing with a couple of different musicians. My friend Chuck Austin is actually putting on this event. It's at the North for Sales Public Library. It's going to be a lineup of musicians telling so that's going to be October 13th. And then October 21st, I'm going to be telling a very spooky tale of basically, I don't know, I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's basically, it's going to be part of the Depreciation Lands Museum's Lantern Tours event, and the theme is Witches of the World. So I'm going to have that in the description, and I do have a pinned post too of all my different events that I have coming up, but those are the ones that I have coming up soon. So if Regina, if you're ready, you can actually request to join, and I'll have you on. I'm super excited. I'm having on the dark-eyed musician this evening, and I'm really looking forward to sitting down and chatting. I'm drinking tea. It's called Brittsburgh Blend. The brand is Griffin's Tea. And so it looks like she's requesting to join. And moment of truth. Let's see if this works. So go live. There we go. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so accept. Go live. All right. Okay. I don't know why Instagram isn't cooperating here. Let's see. Let's see. So, okay. All right. So how, okay, it says you're unable to join for some reason. Maybe try sending another request again, or I could try adding you. Okay, so view, go live. Let's see. Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, there we are. Good.
I had it up like there and I just took my phone off, and of course now it's like, just kidding.
Of course, yeah, of course. All right,
So
cool.
can
Yay.
you see me? I can't see you, but you can
I
see
can
me?
see you.
Okay.
Okay, can you see me
Not
now?
yet, but I'm sure you're there. It's probably just on my end. I don't think there's anything wrong with your.
Okay.
I was seeing
Yeah,
you
I
before.
can see you. We're like half and half here on my end. So, all right, cool. Cool, cool. So how are you doing? How have you been?
Pretty tired lately.
Yeah, yeah, I
But not.
know, I know. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you very
Yes,
much.
yeah. So, and oh, so the guys, the Whistler just joined. Hey, thank you for joining us. So, yeah. So, how are you feeling? I mean, how's everything going overall?
Um, I think I'm doing pretty well. I have not been as active as you probably noticed. I always see you. You always have all these great posts. I'm like, gosh, she must be so busy. You're doing so much stuff, and it's wonderful to see.
Uh,
I particularly like your view of your closet. Like your historical stuff was really cool to watch.
oh,
Um,
thank
I
you.
so cool. I love stuff like that. I'm not a seamstress myself, but I really appreciate all of the stuff that you have. It's amazing.
Oh, well, thank you.
I'm a little too tired to keep up with social media, so I will be taking an extended break. Unfortunately, for a little while after the baby comes, but
Oh, of
I'll
course,
be back.
yeah.
I'll be back. You know, I'm excited. I have all these ideas, but no
Back
energy.
in, back in full action and all that stuff. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, Halloween due date too.
I mean, I wouldn't be upset if you came earlier.
So yeah, but congratulations. And, I'm really, really happy for you that, that you guys are doing well over there. And yeah, but of course, when the time comes, I can't wait to hear some new music from you. And I'm sure everybody else, that follows you can agree. So, but other than, what else, other than, being very happily pregnant and, expecting and all that stuff, like what else have you been up to? Like, do you have like any like favorite fall activities that maybe you like to do with your family or anything? Or
Um, well, I love fall. We actually have had kind of
yeah,
it's traditionally called, I think, like an Indian summer. I'm sure that's not a PC term, but that's kind of what you would call it. Like, so we've had a lot
yeah,
of warmth lately. I'm in the New York area, so we've had kind of a warm phase, and not that that's bad, but like I'm ready for cool weather. So let's see, fall activities. I love apple picking. We did not quite get to do that this year, but it is a favorite activity I do with my kids. Uh,
hmm
and every year I have a tradition with my friend Heather that she comes over. She's very crafty, and Halloween is her favorite holiday. So
yeah,
she
of
comes over and we paint pumpkins. I also carve pumpkins with my kids, but that's kind of closer to Halloween because otherwise they'll
right,
all
of
get.
course.
But I love that we did get to paint pumpkins, and it was a lot of fun. So we had like
Right.
kind of our fall craft day. I do
Mhm.
love to craft. I don't often share crafting because don't have a lot of time for it, but I love to craft. Are you a crafter? Do you do stuff like that
I
too?
I enjoy it. I don't always have a ton of time to do it as much as I would like.
Okay.
But one thing I enjoy doing is making my own lip balm.
Ooh.
I make my own lip balm, and honestly, it's the only lip balm I can use
Okay.
because
What do you do?
it's really, really strange. I will try like another, even if it's like an organic brand, and it still makes my mouth really dry, and you get like those annoying like cracks on this. So the one the lip balm that I make for myself, it's the only one I can use.
Hmm.
So, but I do enjoy making it, and I've had some people suggest maybe like I put it on the market and everything. So I might do that at some point in the future. I just, like I said, just need to just kind of get a feel for the market and like what people might want in that area. If Oh, hey, Paul, thanks for joining. But like, I would just have to get a feel for the market, like say what kind of even like, scents or whatever for I think you would call it for scents, like for lip balm and stuff. Like I would have to get a feel for the market, just see what people would want there and everything. What sort of like scents might be popular. I know everybody loves lavender, but you don't want to be like, sometimes you want to be creative and everything. So it's just one of those things where yeah, that is one thing that I do enjoy making. So what kind of crafts, like what kind of stuff do you enjoy making?
Uh, I actually do enjoy making candles. I've started doing that around the Christmas
Oh
season. I
yeah.
love to make candles. I made them as gifts, and I actually did a little like some little very simple like body scrubs too.
Right.
So I made little baskets for everybody. That was really fun, and I did that last year, and I felt it was nice to do handmade gifts for people. And I do enjoy making candles. I also part of the reason I had that is because I did them as wedding favors. This is way back 9 years ago. I did the
Nice.
and I got like literally these humongous, I mean, so much wax. So I just have like this massive store of wax. But
Okay.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I might as well just make candles.
May
Like,
as well make them. Yeah.
I
Hey.
don't have any kind of, I'm nowhere near the like, I'm not a professional at it or anything. I don't really quite know. I think this year I tried
Not
to
like
sell
a
some.
mythology candles or
Oh,
anything.
she inspires me so much,
She,
Leanne.
oh my
She's
gosh, Leah, she's
amazing.
amazing. Like she's like, I'm like, how, you know?
But we have to have people like her who are
So,
trailblazers who prove that things can be done. So you can sit there
yes,
and go, well, it's possible. So it's just a matter of figuring out. So I certainly appreciate it.
absolutely.
Definitely not there. There will be no no candle making. But I actually
Mhm.
enjoy drawing. Drawing is another one I really
Ooh,
like to do.
okay, yeah.
Again, not something I often share. Sometimes I share it on social media, but
Hmm.
there's so many great artists out there. It's very hard to put yourself
Oh,
out.
definitely, yeah.
Sketch this. I don't know. So.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I enjoy because I have dabbled a little bit in candle making, but it was more like those melting tarts. I haven't made like actual candles with wick yet, but I've made like the tarts that go on and like melt. There really is a science to it too, because you cannot because if you don't put enough like essential oils or fragrance, it's like you get absolutely nothing. But then if you put too much in, like it can really like overpower, or you might get too much of one note as opposed to another. So there really is a science to it. So I've dabbled a little bit in like just the little wax melt making, but it's fun. It's fun just trying like different things. And like I said, I like making my lip balms because and they're the only it's the only lip balm I can use. So
So
so yeah.
interesting. So
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah, so
Which
yeah, but like since we're coming around like spooky season and everything, especially since I mentioned that I was going to be telling like a ghost story at the Lantern Tour theme at one of the history museums that I do stuff with. It's their theme this year is Witches of the World, which is like it's a super super fun theme. Um, do you have like like any like favorite ghost stories or even like any like paranormal experiences that you've had or
I would not say that I have any personal paranormal experiences. I do think that I do believe in ghosts.
yeah,
I
yeah.
do believe it. I believe in angels. I believe in ghosts. All those things. I do. I was thinking about a good, actually a great story that I really. It's actually a true story. So again, I'm basing
Ooh,
this is true. So a true ghost story that I really enjoyed. Has to do. So I'm actually Catholic,
okay.
and one of the things we believe about is like, purgatory, right? So people are waiting to get into heaven. Souls are waiting to get into heaven.
Right.
So the belief this I heard this incredible story that like that's actually a lot of times that's why their spiritual activity, their spirit
Mhm.
activity,
Mhm.
people that are trapped and they're trying to get like let you know things. This is kind of similar to what a lot of people believe anyway,
Yeah.
whether you're Catholic or not, but they're trying to get your attention. So a lot of times these spirits will knock things over, or they'll turn water on or something like that.
Right.
And incredible story about this convent that had this wing of their convent. They were like, well, we're gonna break that down and remodel it, but like every time we try to get in there, like I think it was water was being turned on, or all these different things.
Wow. Yeah.
What was going on? And so they called in an exorcist. You know, they were like, help us.
Yeah.
Like, something's going on here. And he was like, look at, like, this is somebody who's trying to communicate to you. They need your prayers. They need you to pray for them.
Yeah.
When you have your daily mass in your convent, like, say a prayer, like, pray for that person, like, make that
Right.
intention. And so when the priest would be saying the mass at a part where they are saying that the Lord's Prayer, they say, say, forgive us our trespasses. And at that moment, all the candles went out on the altar. And of course, the priest was terrified. He was like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
He calls up this exorcist. He's like, I'm not doing this ever again. The exorcist, nope, keep doing it. That must mean something, that this soul is tortured. Maybe they can't forgive you. Maybe that's why they're not in heaven yet. Maybe that's why they're trying to get your attention. They need you. And so he kept doing it. He did it for, I think, a whole month, every day. And at that same moment, the candles would blow out, which is just, it gives me chills, you know. And then so finally, one time he was doing that, and they stayed lit. And then everything, it was like that soul was able to be freed. So to me, like, I love that because it's a true story. A lot of people have counted it, and I love that it validates the existence of that. Like, you know, I think there's so many people that might be like, oh, I don't really believe in that kind of stuff, or they think it's all either, you know, something evil or something like that. Like, no, sometimes they're trying to, like, communicate to us. I love that so much. It's one of my favorite. I tell everybody about it because I'm like, see, I do believe this is true. You know, I do.
Absolutely, yeah.
That people can be trapped in this kind of spiritual world here and try to communicate to the real world. I think that's just absolutely fascinating. And
absolutely.
Yeah, that's
it's
probably my favorite one. I don't know if that creeped anybody out.
David just said hi. Hi. Hey, everybody. I know a bunch of people just joined. Hey, guys. Hey, I know Josh joined. Crystal Moon Sage just joined. A bunch of people just joined. So, hey guys, welcome. So, but it's just, especially, I know, because a lot of people talk about that at this time of year and everything. And, you know, especially when I, you know, working for like some history sites and everything, it's just, you really, not only do you hear stories, but sometimes you have like experiences, because when I was site director a couple years ago at the John Neville House, and like there'd be times when I'd be there by myself, and like I would hear somebody, like, you know, it would sound like somebody would like somebody sneezed or something in the other room, or, you know, you would hear like, you know, it sounded like footsteps on the stairs. Now the footsteps on the stairs, maybe that can be explained like as, oh, it's just an old house settling, you know. But sometimes, like I said, it sounded like footsteps, and somebody, you know, it sounded like somebody would be like sneezing or something in the other room, and I'd be the only one there. But there was one particular thing that I had happened. There were a couple times too, because we had those battery operated candles too, like just for safety reasons and stuff like that. And, you know, there would be times like I know I would turn them all off, and then I would do like my once more around, and sure enough, there would be like one or two candles back on. So it's like, and there was one particular incident. It was actually at around Christmas time, because we were getting ready to do our Christmas tours. And so, you know, I was just there like decorating. It was me and one of the other ladies who's on the board of directors for that museum. And, you know, she was kind of helping me out, but then she ended up, you know, but then she left for the evening, and I was just going to stay behind, you know, just to, you know, just to finish some things up, and then, you know, and then leave. And so she leaves, and I'm just finishing up a couple of things. Hey, Rob, thanks for joining. I'm just finishing up a couple of things, and I hear from the doorway this woman's voice, and it sounds like she's like, and at first I thought it it sounded like she was like calling into the house, basically, like from the doorway. And I thought that, it was the woman, the board of director woman. I thought like maybe she came back for something. And so I'm like, and so I'm like going toward the door. I'm like, oh, did you forget something? And there was nobody there. I look outside out in the parking lot. My car is the only one there.
Oh.
I was like,
Were you like,
yeah.
ah?
Yes, David, I love ghostly stories. Yes. Oh, yes. Well, go to a history. I mean, if you go to like a history museum, especially one that's actually, an old house that's still standing that was maybe built like 100 200 years ago, and I'm sure if you go to like Europe, you have houses that are even older than that, and castles and stuff that you would definitely hear some, just definitely like hear some stories from like some of the tour guides and everything, and even might even experience something yourself. And there's another story that I didn't experience it, but somebody else did. It was actually at the Depreciation Lands Museum, where I'm going to, be part of their lantern tours. And it did take place during one of their lantern tours. So, so at the end of the lantern tour, we let people go into the tavern for like, cookies, cider, and all that stuff, because we have this little kind of built-in tavern. And so there, I guess there was like this group of people, like they had just finished their tour. And David, I have my own experiences. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, yeah, love to hear it. So hey, DM us with your experiences. Why not? So yeah, but yeah, but like I guess there was this group, and they came into the tavern, they were done with their tour, and they came across this gentleman who was dressed in 18th century attire, and he just kind of looked at them and nodded, and and obviously they just assumed, oh, he's part of the attraction. And so the one woman was like the one of the women, she took a picture of the guy and everything, and then didn't think anything of it. And then I guess like after she saw, I think shortly afterward, I forget exactly how the rest of the story goes, but it involves like shortly afterward, she goes into the woman like runs into one of the other people who are working at the museum and everything that evening, and they were like, oh, I owe that gentleman in the tavern. He was, very, very well dressed, and he, had his, I really liked his outfit. And the woman goes like, what gentleman in the tavern? Because it was just ladies working, in like the cookie and cider line and hot chocolate line that night. And then she goes, oh, like which gentleman? And so she goes, oh, and she describes the man, and then the woman at the museum was like, there's nobody here with that description. And then the woman goes, oh, I took a picture of him. And then she takes out her phone to show the picture, and where the man was standing, there was just this giant orb. Yeah, I know. I was like, yeah, like, I mean, like I said, that didn't happen to me, but, it happened to, a couple other people at the museum and everything. So, yeah, so I mean, there's like, it's so, like I said, it's just so fascinating, when, you just hear about some of like these true ghost stories that people experienced and everything. And
I wonder why, like why I think that, and I agree with you. I think it's fascinating, and I like being in old places. I like thinking about
mhm.
people that used to live there, or even my house is 1895 is when it was built. Doesn't look like that
Ooh.
necessarily anymore, but it is kind of funny because it is an old farmhouse. But I'm actually quite in the city at this point. But so at some point this was more farmland, and so I do sometimes I think about like that the foundations we have are like the original stone foundations, and
Oh, of
it's all
course.
so it's kind of cool. Like obviously we don't have much remaining, I think, of like not much I think is intact. Obviously we have some of the wood, obviously like of the house is
Yeah.
original, like the frame of the house is still original. Um, and we only recently purchased this, so this was all done before we came. But
Yeah.
it's still interesting to think of that. Like my kids are saying something about like, oh, like something about old houses, or yeah, someone's like, when this house gets too old, are we gonna move to a new house? He's four. I was like, honey, this house already is old. Like our house is
Oh,
like
yeah.
literally like we're pushing it. Like it's quite an old house at this
Wow.
point. Again, not as old as some places, especially if you're in Europe, like you were saying.
Oh,
But that
yeah.
always fascinates me too, like the encounters that people have. Like I always just kind of wonder, like what makes um this the them want to like to be in that space. Like is
Yeah.
it just are they just restless? Is there something that like um you know yeah, like why
Right.
here at all, or why kind of be there? Is there something about that particular place to be that they feel the need to like,
Hmm.
I don't know, I think that's interesting. Or
Yeah.
things like, was it a very special room or a very special place, or was there something about it that like
Right.
they just can't quite let go of it, or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, like because or like it's even with something like that gentleman ghost appearing at the the Depreciation Lands Museum, maybe like I don't know that because I don't know. Like maybe that was like a specific place where, maybe he might have like, died on or something, or, that was like or maybe, like I said, maybe he was passing through town or something, and that was his favorite spot. I don't know, his favorite hangout. I don't know. It's real, like what makes people, what makes, spirits, like what makes them like come back to specific places. And I get it, like say, if it's like an old house and that's where they lived, and maybe because I've also taken trips to Gettysburg, and I stayed one of the places I've stayed in, it was a Victorian mansion that was lived in by 8 generations of families and everything. And yeah, there was definitely, I mean, I could feel it. There was definitely just stuff there. And I, just see things that in my peripheral vision and then turn around and like it's, they're not there. Or you wake up like, I think when I was staying at that Victorian mansion, it was like I woke up, it was like, I don't know, maybe like midnight, 1 o'clock, something like that. And I heard like just footsteps of what sounded like, maybe 4 or 5 people walking around outside, outside in the hall, and nobody was there. And it was, yeah. So, yeah, but like, especially if you visit Gettysburg, it's really funny because I've been on a few like ghost tours and stuff at Gettysburg, and and one of the ghost tour guides actually made a comment saying it's so common to see ghosts and stuff in Gettysburg. It's like it doesn't even faze people anymore. Like you'll have school children sitting in class and you'll have one walk right through the classroom and like nobody's fazed at all, just because they're so used to it. But there was one particular story though that kind of stayed with me about how I think this was like maybe 20 years ago that I guess this happened, and it was told by one of the tour guides on the ghost tours. And she basically said, because we were passing by one of like the schools in Gettysburg, and like, and that's when she was talking about how like it's so common, for the locals, like they're not even phased, and she was saying about how there was this new teacher that had just moved to the area. And like I said, I think she said this was like 20 years ago. Like she had just moved to the Gettysburg area, this new teacher, and she was just going into her classroom. I think it was before school started, and like she was just going to get like all of her stuff prepared for the school year. And she had and she saw this like he was like a Confederate soldier sitting at the desk. And, she was just kind of like a little taken aback, but then maybe like then she said, oh, maybe he's just like a reenactor because there's always, those battle reenactments going on in Gettysburg too. So she just assumed that like he was, that he was just this reenactor. And she goes, and then she goes, oh, hi, she said hello. And, he, stood up in like that kind of Southern gentleman fashion, and he took off his hat. But then when he took off his hat, she said she saw like what looked like a battle head wound, and he bowed to her, but then after he bowed, he disappeared, and she was like, like really, really like, okay, what just happened? And that was like her, I guess, apparently, according to this tour guide, like that woman's initiation into teaching at a school in Gettysburg. you know
So I want to know, what like when you have those experiences, like hearing footsteps and stuff like that, like what goes through your mind? Like, are you afraid, or have you become? Because I know you do so much historic reenacting, and
Mhm.
you're in these beautiful old places like Gettysburg. I have never been to Gettysburg. I don't know why.
Oh,
But I've been to Antietam. I've been
you
to
should
Antietam a couple
go.
times. We lived
Yeah.
in Maryland. As a kid, we went to Antietam at least twice,
Hmm.
and remember like walking down one of the roads in Antietam and simply like, well, this entire road was like filled with people's blood, and
Yeah.
out that window there were like body parts hanging like that. So I remember all that. So it was definitely, even as a kid, you're like, this place, there's
Yeah.
something about it. You can tell that it's something so important happened there. But I just want to know, like, because I'm thinking, like, if I heard footsteps and I was by myself in a bedroom, I would be like,
Yeah.
terrified. Like, I don't know what I would do. So I'm curious, like, what is your like emotional or mental reaction? Do you just kind of acknowledge it and just kind of like, what? I'm curious.
Yeah, you know what? I just acknowledge it because, most of at least what I've encountered, aren't anything malevolent that I feel. And I really don't encounter too much malevolence, thankfully. Like I haven't really encountered anything like malevolent in like really long time, which I'm like very happy about. But like, yeah, for the most part, I think it's just, people, they want to be seen and heard. Maybe they have a story to tell, and, if they want to like make themselves known, I acknowledge them, especially, and if I'm staying in like an old bed and breakfast and perhaps that was their bedroom, I'm just like, okay, well, thank you for letting me stay here. And, you always try to be respectful and everything. But it was, but yeah, but like now, like I said, for the most part, I acknowledge it. I might say hello, you know, but, um, but yeah, it doesn't really like scare me, maybe like in the way that, some people might think it would. What about you? How would you?
Like I said, I don't know if I have any like particular experiences of my own. Except to say that I like I said I've been to places like Gettysburg or even places as a young child, and I think places where like I've been to Pearl Harbor, for example, and again that's just a place where something so catastrophic
Oh,
happened.
yeah.
You are standing upon the graves of like so
Yeah.
many that
Hmm.
I think there's something impactful about both wartime death and things like tragedy death, where like that's like life being really snatched away in a moment that maybe
Right.
wasn't like major sickness where there's like this preparation.
Mhm.
It's just and I think there's something to be said about that. And I do recall like those moments where you just again you kind of just have a sense of like the sacredness of the space that something really
Yeah.
happened here of such
Yeah.
significance and those people that came before. So I think those are really the most I can say personally like I've ever really felt is really more along those lines. So very minimal, not actual experiences of seeing or hearing voices, which is fascinating.
Yeah.
I think to me, because it would be such a new experience, I think I would have it. I'm kind of a skittish, anxious person, so I think I would be like,
Uh,
oh my gosh, like I would probably like bless myself or something, like try to make sure
yeah,
that just to make sure everything
of
is
course.
absolutely something like that. I absolutely just to make sure that I felt safe in
Hmm.
case. But again, I truly don't have any personal experience like you do, things like
Yeah.
that. So I would like to say I would be like, oh, it's fine. Like I'll just kind of like, but I'm sure I would freak out.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I want to there's like a ghost tour, like a cemetery one. It's very popular here during this season, and
Okay.
I'm in a city where like we like to make the most of everything we have, right? Which is great. So
Oh
everybody's
yeah.
like, oh, have you been on the nighttime tour? I can't remember what village it's in, but
Hmm.
I haven't. I have not yet, but I think it would be interesting. Ooh,
Ooh, look
let's.
at that. Sleep paralysis. This is from David. Sleep paralysis is the only time I deal with a, ooh, yuck, demonic, ugh, yuck, knock on wood. It's been at least 5 years since last. Well, I hope it continues to be a very long time since that last episode. Yuck, you don't want to, you don't want that. So,
I'm sure you could
ugh,
do something, but I think for David, like I would just keep something sacred by my bed
yes,
if it's again what your preferred. I would have like holy water or a cross or
yeah.
something that I could like my hand and
Hmm.
you know. So I don't know what he would do per se, but that's what I would do if I had something like that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, because I know, holy water cross, sometimes, save Palo Santo, just anything like that, that's, yeah, you definitely, yeah, I mean, I'm glad I'm glad it's been at least it's been 5 years, and hopefully that'll continue to be, longer and everything, but yeah, but definitely like try to keep something like sacred close to you, like just to be safe, or even if you have even something like I've even heard from some people, if you like just like a tiny votive candle, obviously put it in like a safe jar, and just just have it just as a light in your bedroom, or close to where you are. Obviously be safe, you don't want to be starting any fires or anything like that, but like but even if you just put like a little like tea light candle in like a fire safe jar, that can actually, I usually just end up cursing at it and it disappears.
I mean, hey, if it works, it works. I mean, you do what works, right?
There you go. But yes, hopefully you won't be getting any more of that. So yeah, because you don't want that. So, but yeah, but thank you for sharing that, David, definitely. But but I know you've been also working on like a new EP, which I know is on hold right now, but yeah, but like even just what is some of the inspiration like for that EP?
I just had more ideas for songs. I have a few that I'm obviously sitting on them for now, but I think I just really wanted to put something together. And I've always kind of toyed with the idea of more of a themed album, whether that would be more of a holiday album or more of a lullaby album. I've had the idea for a lullaby album for many years, like just maybe more some cover songs and some other things like that. So I had considered that, and then I wasn't quite sure. So honestly, the idea of doing an EP was as far as I got at the beginning of the year before I
Hmm.
was down and out
Yeah.
with pregnancy,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So that was I think that it's just a matter of, like you said, postponing it. So I'll be postponing it for now. And then I would like to come back and kind of decide what that would be. Perhaps it will be like a lullaby one. I have so many lullabies that I love to sing, and I would love to explore some more. I think it'd be really special as a mom too to have something like that for my kids. But I'm still in a very indecisive stage.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I did this single of for this summer. My single was Fires Glow, which I also really enjoyed doing, but that's completely not a lullaby. So
Yeah.
you can see like, I'm still kind of like, but I felt like I had to write this, but then I could do this, or I could do that. So I'm still kind of in that stage of like
Yeah. You're
a lot of
in that
ideas
like in
bouncing in
between.
my head. And one thing I am very consistently inconsistent about is the fact that, like, I think I probably should do more cover songs or more things like that. And I often sit out with the idea that I will, and then I just go, never mind, I'm just going to write my own thing, which I enjoy doing, but
Right.
it doesn't really pay to do your own thing sometimes.
Yeah.
So often I'll be like, oh, I should do that cover song, I should do that thing. And it's like, oh, here
Mhm.
I am, just, throwing out another completely random song. But, it's always fun. Thank you, Dave.
Mhm. Oh,
Um,
David's saying he likes Fire Glow.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, that is a great song, definitely. So, yeah, yeah. So obviously, like, so that song was obviously just inspired by, just friends gathering around like a bonfire
Yeah.
and
Yes. And the idea of like, I think one of my patrons, a very sweet guy, he was saying that like when he read the lyrics, he pictured a very different type of song. He pictured it more like maybe more softer, more kind of, and it's very upbeat. So if you've listened to it,
yeah,
it's very, let's go. And I thought, well, where does that energy come from? Where is that liveliness coming from for that
yes,
particular song? Because I definitely pitched it. I was like, it's about sitting by a fire and hearing stories. And it sounds very relaxing, but the song itself is very lively. And I
right.
thought, well, the reason for that, I think, is because I wanted the song to feel the excitement of like those adventures that you're going on, right? And the idea that there's such a history of people
Mhm.
telling stories in every culture, usually
Right.
around fire. So that kind of imagery of, I like the idea of like, you're sitting there and in your imagination and the fire's glow, you're seeing it
Hmm.
being described to you, whether it's being sung or spoken to you. And so the almost like the magic of the fire, you're seeing all these things
Yeah.
in mind, and how exciting is that? The adventures you're going on. So there's references in the song to like the Mists of Avalon, to Tir to
Yeah.
the Excalibur, and the Lady of the Lake. There's all those kind of references. Some of them a little more generic, but
Hmm.
specific ones in there to like those stories that you might be hearing. And of course, they're exciting, they're exhilarating.
Yeah.
So that's where the energy comes from. So again, I know the idea like, oh, you're sitting by a fire, it's like a
Um,
bonfire. It's like, no, this is a very heavy song. And I had originally, of course, I'd love to do an actual music video for it.
ooh.
Obviously, I'm not doing it this year.
Yeah.
Because I want to be able to move, I want to be able to
Right,
dance
of
and
course.
have something
I,
exciting.
I picture, because when I listen to the song, I picture, just like kind of dance, kind of like what you did with the fairy ring, with your fairy ring video, where like there's like dancing and, just people in front of a bonfire, dancing around a bonfire. And David, it came from the flame within, Regina.
Thanks.
That is awesome. Aw.
Yeah, so I had that idea for the video. I think a lot of times, I'm not sure if you're the same way with songs, but I feel like oftentimes there's sometimes they happen very quickly, and there's other times where a song will be an idea for a long time. Like, I
Right.
think I have a notes app on my phone that I'll often just like, that's where I keep a lot of the lyrics. Sometimes lyrics comes first, if they do,
Hmm.
or I'll just have like just record myself singing what sounds like a good melody, and I'll kind of save it that way so I can get
Hmm.
those fun moments of inspiration. But
Yeah.
even with that, sometimes you just have to sit on a song for a while and come back to it periodically until it really kind of takes shape.
Hmm.
And I think that was one that I had conceptualized and somewhat like sort of written for probably over a year now. So I was
Yeah.
thinking like last year, I think I remember, well, I wasn't quite ready, so I took all that time and then I worked on it, and then I wasn't able to do the official video at this point, but
Hmm.
time and just seasons, right?
Yeah.
And I'm happy that I got it out. It was a very challenging song for me from a musical standpoint because I don't know. I don't know. Again, things you do to yourself. like
Of
it,
course.
I had to kind of figure out where the timing was, and technically, it feels like there's a solid two, like a 2/2 or a
Hmm.
2/4 beat. But then I was like, but I want the
Yeah.
percussion to be kind of like syncopated and off. So like, I'm
Hmm.
still rather new to putting that together in a program, and
Yeah.
and my ability to play things. And one of my sweet composer friends, Rosemary Moonrise, who we've done a few things together, was like, well, what I
Hmm.
would do is I would lower the BPM to something where I could play it. And I was
Yeah.
like, that never occurred to
Yeah.
me. I'm like, I can't play it as fast as I need to. And I would sit there and I would struggle and do it again and do it again and do it again. And so like, I couldn't believe she said that. I'm like, it never occurred to me to slow it down in the program, and then you can just
Right.
program. Like I could play it slower, and
Hmm.
I so I still have so much to learn. So much to learn about songwriting and recording stuff. I'm always open to new things.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Well, that listening to that song, it actually kind of brought back memories for me of performing at this one event called the Fall Frolic, and unfortunately, like many things in like 2020, it got shut down and everything. And but hopefully maybe in the next year or two they'll be able to like find their footing again and put it on. But it's in the area where I grew up, which is the northeastern Pennsylvania area, that Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. I don't know if you're familiar with that area, like the Poconos. And
No,
yeah,
I wish. Pennsylvania is a beautiful state, but
it
I
is
don't know.
gorgeous. But yeah, but like, but the event was held like near the Poconos, and it was actually at this beautiful like camp lodge location. And the musicians, like, we would perform in like the main hall. It was this log cabin, and then afterward we would all like have a bonfire, and just everybody just kind of freestyling like the music and everything. And yeah, and oh, higher healing, hey, thank you for joining. But yeah, but we would just be all around, like, after performing, the musicians plus like the people who were in attendance there, we would just all get together. And there wasn't like this separation of, oh, musicians from the audience and everything. It's like we were just all together around like the bonfire. And that actually was what that song kind of like brought back memories. And there was one year that actually, because my grandparents, who, they're no longer with us, but they were a huge inspiration for me musically, because they had their own bands and everything back in like, the late 50s and the 60s and everything. But they actually came and they came to that event and, watched me perform and everything. And this was kind of a last minute thing where we had my grandma come up on stage, and we performed a song. My grandma and I performed a song like together that she and my grandfather did like back when they were doing their thing. And it was just such a wonderful moment. And just like that event has like always been very special for me, just because and David, I have cousins who live in Lake Ariel, PA. Cool, nice, fabulous. Yeah, so, and like I said, that song, like the Fires Glow song, actually like just woken up all those memories and everything, because that event was just like such a special event for me. So I hope they get it back up and running maybe in the next like year or two or something. But but that's what that song brought for me. So yeah.
I
Cool.
think there's definitely like, and then especially you're talking about the intimacy of like, family and music. And my family is also very musical as well. And
Yeah.
not just my grandparents, but my parents like kind of met through music in a lot of ways. And that was something that they really found in common. And so,
Mhm.
anytime that I'm able to play like with my parents, they like to go to what they call the Fiddlers Tour.
Ooh,
Neither of them play
there you
fiddle.
go.
It's just a generic name for the Irish sessions, and they go and
Mhm.
take friends and they go around, and my mom brings her recorders and my dad brings his mandolins, and
Yeah.
they just have a blast, and they get out more than I do. They do music more than I do. And there's something about the live music. So anytime I'm able to play with them, if we're visiting, it's a lot of
Yeah.
fun. And I agree with you. There's something very special. Like yours, obviously, it's a beautiful story about like just that connection with your family, and
Yeah.
also just music. That's definitely something that I think is a little bit of a, I don't want to get on too much of a tangent, but it's a little bit of a difficult thing. Recording has so many beautiful things about it, but there's just something
Yeah.
about live, and like you were saying about around that bonfire, like there's
Mhm.
a spontaneity to it. There's a community.
Yeah.
Everybody feels kind of connected.
Yeah.
And that's just a beautiful thing. Like as humans, like we love that, right? Like it's something to bring us all together, and we're all kind of experiencing that at the same
Yeah.
time. You just can't beat it. Like there's something about that, I think, that
Oh, of course.
and
Yeah.
music makes it like that it's something about music, right? That
Mhm. Yeah.
really just yeah.
Yeah. And you just recently had a live performance too.
I did. Yes, that was my first that I've ever done. I know you do so many live performances. I'm like, this is the first time I've ever been on a stage since I was in college,
Really?
which is
Oh,
a
wow.
while. Yes, I have not done anything like that in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a lot of fun. It was very intimate. It was like it's a like little neighborhood. Like I live in a little village, city village neighborhood place, and so it's our little art space.
Yeah.
So of course all my friends, I'm like, guys, you have to come see me. And like I only had like 20 minutes to perform because I was kind of a last minute shoe-in.
Okay.
Literally like shoehorned it. I was like, I called the guy and he's like, oh, I already have my set list. But I guess there's this like small amount of time if you want to fill that awkward time that I have. I was like, I'll do it.
Right.
You know, like I'll do it.
Yeah. There
I
you
just
go.
love the experience of I haven't done anything like that, especially not with my own music.
Okay.
I haven't performed in like for a live audience and that kind of venue, any kind of a venue with my own music or in general for many years. And if you think of being in college, you know, being a vocal major, like that's a very different ball game. Like it's not like, oh, I'm gonna be up here with my flower crown and sing this song. Like you're very proper, you do your so it's a very different environment. So I was very lucky. It went really smoothly. It was a lot of fun, and it kind of gives me I feel a little more confidence now. Like I can say I did it. I kind of had a little bit of that experience where I can say, I think I could do this again, maybe in a better setting or in a different setting where I wouldn't feel completely intimidated because I've kind of already done it before. And that's encouraging. Like I'm sure you probably say the same because you've been doing live music for a long time. The first few times you're like, okay, like kind of like there's so much you're thinking about. Like I was so worried about anything going wrong. Or just forgetting lyrics. But I did not forget my lyrics, so I was very happy.
What song did you perform?
I did 4 songs. I started with The Fairy Ring, which is one of my original from the album. And then I did, I tried to think of some songs people might know. I did The Dragonborn Comes from Skyrim.
Yeah.
I did The West by Annie Lennox from Lord of the Rings. And then I ended with Fire's Glow. So I kind of wanted to introduce myself with something that I know is fully mine, but then I wanted to sort of like give them something they might know. And I decided to do those selections because I wanted to like, I almost did a more traditional folk song. I was very close to doing the Scarborough Fair or something like that. Yeah, I love your almost, I know. I almost did. And then I was like, oh, but then Into the West, it just sits in my voice in a really sweet spot. Like if I do say so myself, at least the that I chose to sing it in, it just kind of a very comfortable place. So I knew that it would be a song that I wouldn't have to go like oh, they do it. Yeah. Like it was easy. So it went really well. I think I stuck out like a sore thumb. I mean, like not like a sore thumb, maybe something prettier than that. But I was definitely the only one like in a costume with a big leafy flower crown. Like I don't remember that, you know? Fantasy music, and then like before me was like a jazz band, and after me was like again kind of like a Celtic session group that just played their songs, you know, and their band T-shirts. And they beautifully. That's the kind of thing that people will remember you, though. You know, they'll be like, yeah, I remember that gorgeous singer with the, you know, who dressed like a fairy, and you know, it was like, yeah, but cool. And David, they were perfect choices, Regina. Aw, there you go. So yeah, I think that's something that you have to get comfortable with, right, as a performer. Like I think, you know, again, right now I do mostly recording, which is great, but I do love to perform. Like I love to be on the stage. It's something that I'm really nice to kind of get back to it because it's so much fun. Like, I really agree. Like if there's something so much fun about performing it live, and you get to kind of connect to people, and you're reaching a very, again, that live music moment where you're making those connections immediately, and there's something so energizing about that. And so I'm sure you agree. Cool. So I mean, if you're feeling up for it, I'd love to have you perform your new song. I will try. My sound hookup is not great because I don't have my actual microphone. Okay. It's going to be a phone microphone. So let me play the song on my computer laptop. All right. If it sounds to your end. And if it sounds like, then I'll sing along to it. How's that sound? Because if it doesn't sound good to you, it's not going to work out very well. Okay. So it sounds like, let's turn this up. In the fire.
Yeah, it sounds okay on my end. And if anybody else can comment as to how it sounds on their end too, that would be helpful. But yeah, but it sounds okay on my
Oh,
end.
good. Okay. So I'll give it a shot. Start that again. Do you want me to do the whole thing, or do you want me to just do
Sure.
it?
Yeah,
Okay.
treat us, please, you know?
Okay. Come sit beside me in the summer's waning light. The air is cool, the drinks are warm, and the fire's blazing bright. The minstrel's fingers strum a tune, the night is ripe for fun. Dance with me, dream with me, the story's just begun. I see the faces of mountains gray and gold. I hear the voices of woodland elves of old. I feel the beating hearts of lovers long ago. I throw the Vikings as they go. Changes of smoke drifting up to the sky. We bless the tapestry of great heroes' lives. Lovers, martyrs, kings and queens, the faces of our song. Live and breathe within our dreams, within our hearts they call. I see the far off shores, the verdant unknown. I feel the misty breath of Babylon's voice. I see the jewels gleaming so within the lake. And from the stream of lore I pray I never break. Oh, 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 oh. Story so on crimson into the waking night. The spells are promised now into the morning light. Come on and sing to me the song that never ends until we gather round to hear them once again. Oh, 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 oh,
Yes.
That's as good as I can do.
Awesome. Good. And David just said Regina has one of the most beautiful voices that just embraces a song. Oh, love it. Yes, we had some other positive comments too. And, you know, people were saying it sounded okay on their end. So, yes, good. Awesome. Yay. So, yeah, so I know, like I said, you're getting ready to have a new baby and everything, but so I was going to say, like, what's next for you? I know that's what's next for you. But is there anything else that maybe like once you know, everything gets settled that maybe you want to start working on again or doing?
I definitely would like to resurrect my newsletter.
Great.
You know, those old newsletters that you're like, I should do this, and then I kind of so that would be one thing. I definitely want to get into more regular communication with people, the lovely people that listen to my music, and I think I think that next year is going to be a year of a little bit of exploration, you know,
Yeah.
kind of seeing like just maybe taking a little step back from pressure to create something on a regular basis, but also freeing myself up to maybe enjoy social media a little bit more. Maybe have
Yeah.
like just do some things like just sing the song, some songs that I just really like, and kind of put that out there and just see how it goes. Stuff like that. Like I kind of just want to like just kind of have a little more fun, and it all depends. Like in the past I've had my baby and I love it. I'm like, let's do it, you know, I jump right in. So I don't know, I might feel very inspired. That EP just might come out earlier in
Yeah.
2024, but at the same time I want to give myself the freedom to take this season to you know, be with family, and then I hope when I come back to again just kind of be open to trying new things,
Yeah.
and again resurrecting that newsletter, and I think reaching more people would be great. But as you know how that goes, it's very hard, you know, social media sometimes. That would be my
Of
that's my
course.
goal.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, well, we definitely look forward to just seeing more from you. And yeah, definitely, you know, stay safe and everything. And, you know, take care of yourself, obviously, please. Because, you know, I mean, and that's exciting that, you know, a new baby's coming. So do you guys know what it is, or do you want it to be a surprise?
No, I don't like. No. I do like surprises, but maybe not that kind.
Well,
No, I do know it's a little boy, and have already chosen a name. His name is going to be Rowan, like the Rowan tree.
oh, so
And
beautiful.
it's a great name. And my kids already know they're the big siblings. They're all waiting. So anytime he decides to show up,
Yeah.
we'll be
Oh,
ready.
oh, that's so adorable. I love it. Well, congratulations, and you know, definitely congratulations on Fire's Glow. And where can people pick up Fire's Glow if this is maybe their first time hearing it?
I would say certainly if you go to my profile here on Instagram at the Darkeyed Musician, I'll just have it all together.
Hmm.
You can click the link tree there, and there's actually a link right at the top where you can get a download for free
Nice.
of the song. So if you are somebody who likes to download music, it's there for you. If you're somebody who likes to stream your music, I'm on pretty much every streaming site. So you
Hmm.
can again search the Darkeyed is one word musician. So the Darkeyed Musician on Spotify. On I don't know if anybody uses Deezer, but I'm on Deezer.
There you
You know,
go.
Amazon Music.
Everybody uses it, but yeah.
I always get the information from I use DistroKid as my distributor. They're like, you're on Deezer now. I'm like, yes, but is anybody else on Deezer? Am I
Yeah, I
the
know,
only one?
right? Yeah.
So yes,
I
but
mean, I've
everywhere,
seen
Amazon
like
Music.
Sarah Brightman advertise her Deezer sites, so maybe I don't know. So.
Perhaps is it more like European or the UK? Maybe that's what they.
Maybe.
Hmm.
That, yeah, because I've not heard anyone from like the US really using it. Oh, you're welcome, David. Thank you so much for joining us and for commenting and your inputs and everything. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. But yeah, but I've not heard of anybody from the States really using Deezer. It's more like Spotify. Like Spotify seems to be like the big thing right now. So I'm sure maybe another year or two it'll be another big thing, but that Spotify seems to be like what most people use.
I
So
love Spotify.
mhm.
I use it a lot.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, or even like sometimes I also use YouTube Music. I have the YouTube Music app too, so I use that sometimes too. But yeah, Deezer. It's like, hey, does anybody out there use Deezer? Like, definitely drop it in the comments if you do.
I'd be curious. Like I said, it's on the list, but I'm like, I don't really know. Along with like Pandora, you're like, are people still on
Or people,
Pandora? I don't.
that's another one too, like Pandora. Like, is it still alive and kicking, or is it kind of like gone the way of I I don't know, gone the way of like the dinosaurs? I don't know.
Well, this is why we use things like DistroKid, and there's other ones like DistroKid where like you just send it to them and they put it out to all the stores. So I don't know, but like I said, if you're on any kind of streaming site, I'm there. So
Of
I'll
course, yeah.
you can look up my music or Fire's Glow. And
Mhm.
what's your favorite playlist? That really does help a lot, and it's fun because I can actually see on my on Spotify, I can see the playlist that it's added to.
Yeah,
So that's fun to see, like what people are inspired by. A lot of my music ends up on some kind of like either fantasy board games or
right.
D&D soundtracks, which is great. Like
Hey,
perfect. Like that's
perfect.
my share. Like so I appreciate that very much, and I know like
Mhm.
it's great for artists to get on. Personal playlists are great. So
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So cool. Well, I mean, I would definitely like once everything is settled and you're starting to work on like, new stuff again, I'd love to have you back on and, because I'm starting to do things, do these again. And, so I'm super excited. I really, really missed doing these. And it was wonderful to have you as, a first guest to kind of kick off me doing the live streams again. And October 29th, I will be on with a friend of mine from the reenacting community, Fashions Revisited. Her name's April C. Thomas. We're going to be doing a special Halloween live stream. So we might even dress up. So I might even take a poll, do a poll on my stories just to say, hey, what do you want me to dress up as for this live stream? So, and like just see what people say and hopefully they'll pick a costume that I like. So yeah.
well,
So,
only put out options that you like. That's what I would say. Give them like 3 options, and they're all ones that you would be like cool doing,
that I
rather
really
than like
like.
clowns.
Yes, exactly. That so that I'm not like, oh my God, really? That's what you guys want me to dress up as? Come on.
No clowns, guys. No things like that. Like let's go cool.
Exactly, yeah. So I think that's what I'm going to do, just because it's fun and gets people involved. I like how but I know like with you with your Patreon, you give people like kind of like a little bit of a say in like what goes out or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like part of the creative process. So all right. Cool. Well, thank you so much for joining me. And thank you to everybody that stopped in and joined us. If you only were able to pop in for part of it, I will have the replay up so then you can definitely just listen to or watch the whole thing at your leisure. And feel free to still comment and feel free to join April and I on October 29th for our special Halloween live stream. And because it's always great to have people interacting live and everything. So thank you so much and definitely be safe. Cheers. Cheers to you, Regina.
Thank
Love you. You're awesome. So,
you.
all right. Thank you so much. And, please, everybody, be safe, be well, have a great weekend, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, Regina. Thank you so much. All right.